What's going on, everybody? Alex here from the Football Guys, here to talk about Kadarius Toney and if he is the real deal. He has to be one of the most confusing players in all of fantasy football, but we like to be positive around here. So let's start off with the negatives and then get into the positives. So the thing about Kadarius Toney that makes him so interesting and why I did not want to go anywhere near him last year or this year partly is that he didn't even surpass 300 receiving yards or 25 catches his first 3 years of college. And he really didn't break out until he was a fourth-year senior, which usually doesn't bode well. He was also one of the worst route runners in reception perception history, grading out poorly amongst almost every route in college. But the Giants clearly saw something when he hit the field, and I think they definitely might be onto something. Among all wide receivers in the NFL last year, Kadarius Toney was 7th in target rate. That means that when he was running a route, how often he was targeted per route. And he was 7th in the NFL. Only 6 wide receivers were getting the ball thrown to them more when they were on the field and they were running routes. That is elite company to be in for Kadarius Toney. He was also 3rd among all rookies in yards after the catch per reception. And he also saw an extremely high 0.41 fantasy points per route, but was limited because he only ran just 201 routes last year because of injury. Kadarius Toney, right now, just off that, is producing so much on the field. But if you want to take one thing away from this video, it is this stat right here. Since 2011, there have been 13 wide receivers drafted in the first 2 rounds to average 2.0 yards per route run in their rookie year. 11 out of 12 not named Kadarius Toney have hit a top 12 season. 92% of players here hit a top 12 season besides Kadarius Toney so far. The only player that didn't was Devin Funchess. But this list includes A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, A.J. Green, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, just to name a few. All of these guys were players that hit a top 12 season after having a 2.00 yards per route run or higher. 92% of the players in this list hit a top 12 season. The only one that didn't was Devin Funchess and technically Kadarius Toney. This means that Kadarius Toney, off of this stat alone, has a very good chance to be a top 12 receiver at some point. He also showed that insane potential that we're talking about right here. In week 5 last year, catching 10 passes for 189 yards against the Cowboys, while also leaving injured during the game. He didn't even finish the game. He was well on pace for over 200 yards and looked unstoppable against the Cowboys. He did have some injuries last year, and he kept getting hurt throughout the season. Obviously, you have to worry about, quarterback play and can Daniel Jones get this guy the ball? But anyone that watches highlights or his game tape last year saw that this guy was absolutely electric every single time that he was on the field, and someone that you absolutely want to consider investing in fantasy football. Kadarius Toney absolutely might be the real deal, and because of that stat, 11 out of 12 receivers who hit 2 yards per route run or higher, all of them were top 12 receivers besides one player. That is something where I'm like, okay, at wide receiver 45 right now among consensus rankings, I'm hitting that all day with Kadarius Toney. He has elite potential. There's some elite stats to back him up, and I think that he's someone that is absolutely worth investing in going into his sophomore season. But that is all. Keep enjoying Footballguys content each and every single day because we are about to take over this fantasy